Welcome to the next episode of Planks Audio. This week's submission is by our resident scientist, League. Let's see how perverted he is. This is the first time I've read it, so let's go. The work trip. Samantha was at a loss with the request before her. Normally, her life consisted of the standard trip to visit a client or medical office. She would go and sell whatever new pill her company had created, treat the client to an above-average dinner, and close out the contract. Afterwards, she returned to her sloth of a husband and an angel of a daughter, spend a weekend with local trips, clean up after them, then repeat the cycle again. But this time was different. The new medical facility was large, and this required the assistance of another representative. His name's Peter. I look forward to it, Peter said with a wry smile as he slowly walked away. She had never really noticed him before, but she couldn't take her eyes off his spry bottom. After accepting the mandate before her, Samantha returned to her desk to begin scheduling her life around her trip. Her eyes drifted to where Peter had planted that firm bottom. Had he always been there, she thought, taking note of his physique. Unlike her husband, who for some reason had two gym memberships, Peter apparently used his. Focus, she said, with a mantra-like brevity, and packed her essential work items before returning home to cook for her husband and child. Arrange for her mother to come help out in her absence, and of course, clean. Tired and despondent, she looked upon her husband asleep on the floor. After touching herself to what she thought was a Japanese cartoon show, she was almost excited to leave. Laughter filled the room. A new contract had been signed. A new dynamic duo had been formed, and with that, Peter and Samantha left the new hospital. After a quick dinner, the pair returned to their hotel. As she struggled to open the door to her room, she thought about what mischief her handsome partner would get up to that night, and if she would hear of it through the walls. How about a drink, Peter offers, looking at Samantha fumbling with her door. Samantha smiled and replied, "Why not?" As she ushered him into his room, one drink turned into two, and now the pair were shuffled beside each other on Peter's bed. Samantha couldn't help but notice he was different. More confident and charming, but he also noticed a nervousness within herself. What was this? The proverbial butterflies? The anticipation of more? She felt an attraction to him. Then he touched her knee. Was that intentional, she thought, as he immediately reacted. "I'm sorry, I know you're married," Peter said, sliding away slightly. Samantha couldn't reconcile all her thoughts. She was married, but the tingle she had grown into an overwhelming sensation. She pauses, unsure of herself, stuttering, so she looks into his eyes and lunges. That's all for this week. Please come back to find out what happens next week.